In case anyone's interested, we're having another study session tomorrow at 3. Me and Iida will be providing extra help along with the practice test.
At Mama Momo. Awesome! I'll join!
At Mama Momo. Me too.
At Earphone Jack. I'll join you as well.
At Mama Momo. You know I'll be there, babe.
At Frosty Flames, you said you'd study with me tomorrow!
At Frosty Flames. Damn, bro. Really leaving your mans like that? How disgraceful.
At Chargechu, join me and Sero in my room. We're having Cat tutor us.
At Red Riot, the last time I tried helping you two, I watched you spend an hour putting 500 elastic bands over a watermelon.
At King Explosion Murder, don't act like you didn't enjoy it. You were screaming and laughing when it exploded.
Fuck off! Next time get a bigger melon for 600.
At Chargechu, please? I'll bring snacks.
At Earphone Jack. I can brainwash him to come.
At Brain Dead. Do it. Then I'll have the perfect excuse to freeze you, set you on fire, and repeat the process over and over again.
At Earphone Jack. Don't worry, I'll be there.
At Frosty Flames. It was just a suggestion, calm down.
At Brain Dead. And mine was just a warning.
When Todoroki is really just Kami's dad.
And it looks like Mama is gonna have a chat with her husband.
Momo and Iida made quick work of clearing out the old classroom they had asked permission to use for the group study session. Iida was setting up desks in groups of 5, while Yaoyorozu began writing questions on the chalkboard. They were both equally excited and terrified for today. If some of the kids weren't able to answer the basic questions, they would be doomed on the exam. The first couple rolled in 5 minutes early, and the rest followed. Shoji, Tsuyu, and Tokoyami walked in, followed by Mina, Toru, Shoto, Jirou, Shinso, and trailing way in the back, Denki. They all plopped down and started chatting, Shoto being the exception. He strolled to Yaoyorozu, wrapping his arms around her waist. He tried to meet her eyes until Momo grabbed his wrist and pulled him outside the class.
Hey, is everything okay?
Todoroki said, awkwardly shuffling his feet while Momo stared him down. Her furrowed eyebrows sent chills down Shoto's spine, as if his quirk was activating without him knowing.
What's your problem with Shinso?
Momo asked.
You know he got bullied out of his old class, so why are you being so ignorant? And when did you become a dad to Kaminari? I understand he's your friend and dorm mate, but that doesn't mean you have to be his bodyguard.
Momo finally took a breath and grabbed Shoto's hands.
Talk to me. I don't want today to be a repeat of the last study session.
Todoroki looked up, trying to think of a way to explain all of this. He couldn't tell her everything, but he could broaden the situation and leave it there.
Kaminari was adopted when he was 8. His biological parents left him on the front doors of an orphanage. No bags, clothes, or food were with him at the time, and he was scared. His step-parents took him in, and were actually our neighbors for a while.
Momo slowly squeezed Todoroki's hands.
Oh, I would have never thought that.
She spoke.
We became friends very quickly. Whenever I was scared to stay with my dad, I would go over to his place, and we would play video games or watch movies.
Shoto continued to explain.
Then, his step-parents got into a car crash. Both of them died instantly. Kami was 14 and left with nowhere to go. He stayed with me for a year before living with another group of step-parents. He looked up to me, and I tried to be the dad he never had, and also the dad I never properly got. We both talked about our dreams of becoming heroes, our hero names and costumes. And then, we came to a conclusion. We would both enroll in UA at the age of 16 to start our future careers.
At this point, Yaoyorozu had her hands over her mouth. She couldn't imagine how Kami was able to stay so happy with so much pain being thrown at him.
As for Shinso,
Todoroki began.
him and Kami dated for about 6 months before breaking things off. It was not the most ideal relationship, and since then, Denki's had a hard time developing feelings for others. Beside Kyoka, of course.
Momo pulled Shoto into a hug, squeezing his hips and resting her head on his shoulders.
I'm sorry for snapping at you, and not considering the two sides of the story. Can you forgive me, love?
Momo asked with round puppy dog eyes.
That depends. Can I still be your future husband?
Shoto asked.
Pass this exam, and I'll think about it.
Momo winked before taking his hand and walking back in the class. The groups were arranged in 2 groups of 5. The kids would answer questions in a Jeopardy style and earn points for their team. The group with the most points would get an extra 10 bonus marks on the practice test. The first group was Shoji, Tsu, Tokoyami, Toru, and Mina. The other group was Shoto, Deku, Kaminari, Jirou, and Hitoshi. They put themselves in semicircles facing Iida and Momo, as the two brought up a cue card for the first question.
What is the first rule of being a hero?
Iida asked, throwing his hand out in front of him. Jirou was the first to slap the table before Shoji could figure out which arm to hit the buzzer with.
Protect others at all costs!
Jirou exclaimed. Iida gave a thumbs up and added 100 points to their scoreboard.
Shit. Sorry, guys.
Shoji muttered. Tsu gave him a pat on the back and told him to just focus on using his right arm. Momo brought up another card, reading,
A villain outbreak occurs in a small rural area. How should you proceed to apprehend the villains?
This time Deku hit his hand, almost falling out of his chair.
Set up a perimeter to avoid any outside attraction, then request backup. Finally, scope out the possible choke points and figure out strategies to force the villains into corners.
Momo gave a smile and shouted,
Correct.
before moving on. The game went on for about half an hour. Team Tsu was making a steady comeback, while Team Todoroki held their ground. Hitoshi answered a couple questions sarcastically and wrong, forcing a laugh out of Deku. Kaminari could feel his chest tighten. His palms were getting sweaty, and he had to shove them in his pockets to hide the sparks flying out.
Disgraceful.
Denki lifted his head, looked around him for a second.
Everything okay, Kami?
Jirou asked. She saw the worry in his eyes, which quickly left after a
Of course! Let's kick some ass!
from him. It was neck and neck, a tiebreaker between 2 teams. The last question was worth double the points and could bring either team into the lead. Iida raised his eyebrow and showed Yaoyorozu the card. They both looked confused, yet still decided to read the question out loud.
What is a hero's purpose?
Iida asked. The 2 groups stared in confusion. The question was one they had all heard before, but the answer could really be all a personal opinion. Kami began to think, hard. His brain was searching for the answer, but was revealed when he used his eyes. He could see Jirou's purple hair dangle at the sides, her bangs cut short and just enough to show her slim eyebrows above her midnight eyes. Her face was resting on her hand, searching just as vigorously. She looked up and saw Denki staring at her, a smile on his face. She gave him a wink, causing Kaminari to throw his arm in the air and slam it on the table. The question was asking for more than the purpose of a hero. It was asking for more than their own true purpose, and Denki was sure he knew what it was. He wanted to protect her, to love her, and to give everything to her.
The purpose of a hero is to make sacrifices, including themselves, for the citizens around them, to ensure a safer world where everyone is loved.
Denki answered. Iida had his jaw dropped as he gave Kaminari the thumb of approval. Team Todoroki shouted in glee as Shoto gave Kami a pat on the back. Even the other teams started clapping, amazed by how Denki knew the answer, and in such a short period of time. After everyone settled down, Iida handed out the test, and everyone began writing. Within an hour, everyone was done and had taken the answers up together. Kaminari was surprised to see he got the 5th highest mark, just a point behind Tokoyami.
Not bad, Denks.
Hitoshi said, giving him a nod. Kaminari smiled shyly, but immediately turned to talk to Shoto. Hitoshi could see the disturbance on Kami's face, letting out a soft sigh and turning over to leave.
Wait! I'll come with you!
Deku shouted, throwing all his things in his bag. The green-haired boy threw his notebook in the front pocket and made his way beside Shinso as they both left the class. Kaminari and Shoto watched intensely as Midoriya began laughing at something Shinso said.
Earth to Kami!
Jirou slammed her hand on the desk in front of him.
Jesus. I've been trying to get your attention for the past 5 minutes. Are you sure you're okay?
Shoto and Kaminari looked at each other before giving a nod. They were both thinking the same thing, but they knew it wasn't their place to say anything. They just hoped he hadn't changed for the better.
At King Explosion Murder, do you really hate us that much?
And I bought 600 elastics for nothing. Or did I?
At Red Riot, at Flex Tape, the fuck are you two whining about?
At King Explosion Murder, how about the fact that you, I don't know, weren't in our room to help us study?
At Flex Tape. Ripperoni, bro. Was nice knowing ya.
At Chargechew. Your little faith in my studying abilities is all I need to prove myself.
At Red Riot, I was busy, okay? Fucking hell.
At Red Riot. You know. Now that I'm thinking about it, Ochako wasn't in her room either when I got back.
At Gravity.
At Tadpole, don't bring Cheeks into this. She has nothing to do with me not wanting to sit around a pile of babbling sobs.
At King Explosion Murder, okay. Ouch. Love you too, bro.
At Red Riot, shut it.
Sorry, I was out on a run. At Gravity. Since when do you run? Since always? Duh.
My theory senses are tingling. The last time Bakugo was out of his dorm alone, he said he went for a run. Now, Uraraka has done and said the same thing. Therefore, I theorize Bakugo and Uraraka have been secretly meeting each other for reasons still unknown.
At Frosty Flames, God, I can't wait to punch you in the face!
At Frosty Flames, I admire your thoughts, love, but don't you think this is a bit far-fetched?
Damn it! He's right. Bakugo promised to help me study after school.
At Mama Momo, guess who isn't getting cuddles tonight?
At Frosty Flames. If she starts crying, you start dying.
At King Explosion Murder, so you ditched me and Sero to help Uraraka? That's so manly!
Do I see another 1A couple forming? Studying! We were studying!
At Gravity studying position?
At King Explosion Murder. I'll gladly kill him this time.
At Tadpole, go for it! I'm fucking done!